There it is, folks, the Kansas City Chiefs. And look who signed my football. Joe Montana. Actually got to thank my brother. He gave this to me a long time ago. But it's interesting. Michael Wilbon coined the phrase Dynasty of One. Just to win one Super Bowl is pretty impressive, you know. Try winning a playoff game. This team right here won the Super Bowl in 1969. 1969 season, I guess. I believe the actual game was in January. I can't remember. I wasn't even here. Football. I didn't even get into the sport till 1993. When I moved away from home and went to school. And instead of studying, we drank beer, ate pizza, and we fell in love with the sport, football. I lived in a dorm with 3 college football players. And this kid from Toronto who grew up on Blue Jays and Maple Leafs was introduced to football. And back then it was Dallas and Buffalo in consecutive Super Bowls, so those were everybody's favorite teams. What did I know about football? Not a whole lot. I knew the name Joe Montana. And there was a bit of a buzz going around. Joe Montana was unceremoniously turfed aside by his team, San Francisco, which he led to 4 championships. And the perennial cellar dwellers, a team that had played terrible football in the 70s and 80s, said, "We're going to give Joe a contract. And we're going to take this team from the toilet to the title." So being a bit of a rebel, of course, not only did I start watching the games, but I said, Kansas City's going to be my team. There was one of the 3 football players who was on that bandwagon too. He's like, yeah, good for you. So Joe Montana led the Chiefs into the playoffs. They beat Pittsburgh in the wild card. They beat Houston in the quarterfinals. And the Bills beat them down badly in the semis. Oh my. But it's okay. The Chiefs finally had a winning season. They got into the playoffs, made the semifinals. It's going to be a great future, right? Well, next year, Joe Montana came back, and the Chiefs weren't quite as good. They squeaked into the playoffs with a win on the last regular season game against the Los Angeles Raiders. I believe it was on December 31st, 1994. Because I remember, maybe you don't know the story. I got kicked out of school back then. I didn't pass enough courses, so I went back home. But what did I take with me? My love for football. So back home we're watching the football and cheering for the Chiefs, and nobody else at home was watching football. But I still had faith. Okay, we're in the playoffs. We're going to make some noise. We got Joe Montana, we got Marcus Allen, and they got trounced in the wild card. Joe Montana then says, I'm done. I'm retiring. Then we see the long, painful evolution. The 1994 Chiefs to the 2015 Chiefs. 22 years worth of football. We had a lot of good teams, but we just couldn't win the playoffs. 95, new quarterback Steve Bono, a perennial backup for the 49ers. What's with all these 49er cast-offs coming to KC? 13-3, first place overall, and first round bye in the playoffs, and we lose. Okay. Terrible. It happens. Well, the next year, I physically go to game 16 in Buffalo. Winner is in the playoffs. The loser is out. 87,000 people in Rich Stadium in Buffalo. A freezing cold December game. And the Bills beat my Chiefs down badly. Buffalo makes the playoffs. Kansas City doesn't. And I'm trying to escape. Me with my little Chiefs jersey and 87,000 Bills fans giving me the gears. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of town. Go back to Canada. So yeah, that didn't really work out so well. We had Rich Gannon come in and replace Bono, and he did well. For some reason, the team didn't believe in him, so they let him go. He went to become an MVP with the Raiders. More on that later. Let's go to 98. Okay, we got this. Yeah, you know where we get our quarterbacks, right? San Francisco 49er backups. This time it's Elvis Grbac. This guy's going to be a star. Really? Because he relieved Steve Young and played 3 games with the 49ers and won them? Yeah, he's got a great running back. He's got great wide receivers. Of course he won those games. I could have won those games. So Grbac comes in. Chiefs make the playoffs. Oh, right. Yeah, first place overall again. First round bye. And how does that first playoff game go? Denver 14, Kansas City 10. We're out. Denver wins the Super Bowl. John Elway retires. And the drought continues. A couple more years later, the Chiefs say, enough of this, we're bringing in Dick Vermeil. Okay, maybe that'll work. Dick Vermeil won a Super Bowl with the Rams. And he did so with his third stringer quarterback. The guy he actually wanted to play quarterback. The reason he came out of... He coached in the 70s and 80s, I think. And he retired in 83. That's how old this guy was, and he was out of coaching for 16 years. And they said, Dick, why don't you come to Kansas City? And we'll pick up Trent Green, the guy you wanted to coach. He's like, well, I'm an older guy now. I'm kind of a grandpa, and I'm retired, and okay. So the Chiefs make this move. They sign Dick Vermeil. They make a trade for Trent Green. They draft this running back named Priest Holmes in like the 10th round of the draft. We got this Tony Gonzalez kid who's a pretty good player. So we're like, the Chiefs are going to be good this year. I finally got off my butt in Toronto, Canada, and rented a car and drove all the way to Kansas City. So I'd seen the Chiefs play on the road a few times, but this was different. I was going to Arrowhead Stadium. Not only that, it was one of those Sunday, Thursday double bills. And the Monday night game was in St. Louis. So I went to 3 football games in 5 days. And I had one hell of a road trip. But guess what? The Chiefs started out 2-6. Not very good. Already, the fans had given up. The stadium was sold out, but people weren't coming to the games. But I was just excited to be at my first game at Arrowhead. I saw the Chiefs host then division rival Seattle, and we beat their ass. 17-9 or 19-7? I can't remember the score, but I'm like, okay, we won. Our season is still alive at 3-6. And of course, the Thursday game, it was funny. It was late November, but it was like summer, that first game. I had the shorts and t-shirt on. I met Bobby Bell, the Chiefs legend. He was hanging out with a fan, signing autographs. Somewhere I got a picture with Bobby Bell, and I got a hat signed by him, which I could not find for this video, but it's around here somewhere. Bobby Bell's still alive, by the way. He's got to be like close to 90. So yeah, Chiefs win. Go to St. Louis and see the Rams play the Buccaneers on a Monday nighter, which was a lot of fun. And just so happened that U2, really good rock band, was in Missouri that week. So I didn't just have to kill time Tuesday and Wednesday. I went to a couple of U2 concerts. Tuesday and Wednesday. One was in Kansas City, one was in St. Louis. I went back and forth between the two cities like 6 times that week. I really got to know I-70. and I discovered Jack in the Box. The greasiest breakfast sandwich you will ever eat in your life, but they're so damn good. Oh my goodness. I think I gained 20 pounds that week, but yeah. So the end of the trip, we're into Thursday night, and it has gone from summer to winter. It is freezing cold. It's Thursday night football, Arrowhead Stadium, November 29th, 2001. And it's Andy Reid and the Philadelphia Eagles coming into town. Oh boy. So the Chiefs win the toss, take the ball, but guess what? David Akers pulls off the the onside kick. Philly gets the ball, marches down and scores. And they never look back. Philly blowout win. Chiefs now 3-7, basically out of it, eliminated from contention. So it was a long drive home to Toronto, but that's okay. It's always next year, right? You got a new coach, new system. A lot of hype coming into 2002. Chiefs, we got a good team. So week 1, Kansas City's in Cleveland, so I make the drive to Cleveland to be at that game in person. It's the famous Dwayne Rudd helmet toss. Cleveland thinks they won the game because Dwayne Rudd sacked Trent Green, jumps up, end of the game, celebrates, throws his helmet, but guess what? He didn't actually sack Green because Green didn't have the ball. Green passed the ball off to another player, and the other player took off and ran for 15-20 yards. And since Dwayne Rudd technically took his helmet off during the middle of a play, he was flagged. 15-yard penalty. Game extended for another play. Kansas City gets to kick a field goal. Browns lose. One of the greatest games. It was back and forth. It was like 44-43 final score, something like that. And again, here I am in my red Chiefs Tony Gonzalez jersey, which I bought at Arrowhead the previous year. And 80,000 angry Cleveland Browns fans didn't really know what happened. Nobody saw the helmet toss, but again, I escaped Cleveland with my life. And the Chiefs had a nice 1-0 start to that season. And what a season it would be. All sorts of records broken for the offense. Priest Holmes scored 1 million touchdowns. But guess what? Week 16 came along, and it was pouring rain in that last game against the Raiders, who had Rich Gannon. And Rich Gannon and the Raiders pounded the Chiefs. It was a shutout. I think they beat us like 28-zip. Another one of these winners in. We had to win to get into the playoffs. We lost, so we missed the playoffs again by 1 game. Oakland goes on to the playoffs. Tom Brady does the tuck rule thing. So the Raiders lose in the semifinals, and the Chiefs are left scratching their heads. So we come back in 2003. We start the season 9-0. Trent Green is on fire. Tony Gonzalez playing some amazing football. Priest Holmes, best running back. Dante Hall has become a kick return and punt return legend, scoring either a kick or a punt return touchdown in 4 consecutive games. I'm like, finally. But guess what? 9-0 turns to 9-1 because the upstart Cincinnati Bungles with Marvin Lewis pulled up a major upset. And things would never be the same. We finished 13-3. Still got first place. Still got that first round bye. And then came the infamous no-punt playoff game. Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts come into Kansas City. They play a full game of football, and there's no punts. Every time somebody had the ball, it was either a turnover or a score. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Indy's up by 14. But that's okay. Dante Hall, kick return touchdown. But we needed the defense to stop the Colts once. Just once, Greg Robinson. Of course, it didn't happen. Once again, the Chiefs had blown a first-place regular season and gone out in the first playoff game. the internet was a thing, and somebody created firegregrobinson.com because he was the defensive coordinator. I don't know if it was really his fault or the player's fault or a combo, but he was fired, and Dick Vermeil cried, as he does all the time. And that would be it for a while. 2 more years of Dick Vermeil football. Trent Green gets a concussion. It just wasn't happening, so that era ended. 2006 comes along. We got Herm Edwards. Yes, you play to win the game. Unfortunately, they didn't win too many under Herm, but 2006 I was ready to go back to Arrowhead, so got my 3rd game at Arrowhead against, of all teams, San Francisco. But guess what? Trent Green was out with an injury. That was the concussion year. So I got to see the Chiefs with Damon Heward, who had started, I think we were 0-2 or 0-3. I always seem to pick these terrible seasons, but guess what? It's San Francisco, it's Alex Smith, and the Chiefs beat them 44-0. Not a bad way to make your triumphant return to Arrowhead. But that's not all. I had to drive down to Wichita that night because I also had a ticket to the Rolling Stones concert in Wichita. So the Chiefs were up 40-0. I'm like, early 4th quarter, we're going to win. I'm going to beat the traffic and make sure I get down to Wichita. So I actually missed. They were so far ahead. Damon Heward was the backup quarterback, but he had been starting since Trent was injured. They actually pulled Damon and rested him, and I missed the debut of Brody Croyle. But that's okay. I got to the concert. The Stones put on an amazing show. But yeah, Chiefs, 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Whoa! I think we might have made the playoffs once and then lost. A lot of terrible years. We ended up dead last at one point and had the first pick in the draft, and there was like no star quarterback, or there wasn't an obvious number 1. So we picked Eric Fisher, offensive tackle out of Central Michigan. I'm like, ugh, what a waste of a first round pick. But he turned out to be really good. Finally, at some point, Andy Reid was let go by Philly. He kept getting them into the finals, but they couldn't win the big one. The Chiefs said, okay, we'll give this guy a shot. And by the way, we're going to bring that Alex Smith guy in to be our quarterback. And I'm like, oh, no, this isn't going to work. But it sort of did. Chiefs make the playoffs and actually win a playoff game against Houston for the first playoff time. First playoff win since 1993. Just to get that one win was huge. Didn't even matter that they lost in the second game. Then they had this draft pick. I think his name was Patrick Mahomes the second, out of Texas Tech. Okay, yeah, whatever. Texas Tech, they're a mediocre team. What are they, 7-6, and they won the shit fuck bowl. Okay, Mahomes. This guy looks pretty cool though. We saw some of his highlights in college, and he had some big shootouts. The Big 12. Not a lot of defense back then. So, but yeah, Alex Smith was going to start, and Mahomes was going to be the rookie on the bench who sat and learned. And the Chiefs got themselves to 10-5 and clinched a playoff spot. So they said, let's put Mahomes in for the last game of the year just to get him some work and a little bit of experience. And I believe the Chiefs lost that playoff game. I think that was the Tennessee game where Mariota threw a pass to himself because it bounced off somebody's head, and he actually caught the ball and dove into the end zone. Mariota to Mariota, touchdown Tennessee. Chiefs lose again in the playoffs. I filmed a video where I smashed my helmet with a folding chair, which is still on my YouTube channel. But anyway, Alex Smith is basically told, thank you, goodbye. We're going to go with the kid. And Mahomes comes in and wham! MVP season. all the way to the semifinal game, and it's that damn overtime coin toss thing. New England gets the ball and scores, and we never even get a chance to follow that up. So that really sucked, but that's okay. We'll go back the next year, and we won the Super Bowl. Really? We won the Super Bowl? We won Super Bowl 4, and then we won Super Bowl 54. We've been waiting all these years. I still couldn't quite believe what I was seeing. Mahomes had already become the bona fide, not just the best player in the league, but already touted as the best player of all time. A generational talent. So I was pretty excited. The dynasty had started. The next year, we make the Super Bowl again. But guess what? During that season, Mahomes hurt his ankle. And ever since then, he's been a little timid. He isn't scrambling and running as much as he used to do. Now he's doing everything he can to avoid getting hit. Even if it's underhanding or shot putting the ball. That's okay. We've got a great team. We've got Tampa Bay exposed. Our O-line wasn't that good. I think we had a few injuries. I think Eric Fisher was out. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, the Canadian doctor, was on our team, and he was hurt too. Our O-line was injured, and they couldn't protect Mahomes. Tampa Bay took him apart. We couldn't get anything done. Buccaneers win the Super Bowl with an old quarterback. I think he was named Tom Brady. Yeah, that's okay. We've hosted 3 AFC Championship games in a row. So going into next year, everyone's going to get healthy. We're going to make some free agent signings, and we're going to be even better. So, of course, we lose to Cincinnati in the AFC Championship game. So for the first time in 3 years, we're not in the Super Bowl. We're out in the semifinals. And everyone starts calling us Dynasty of One and chokers and all this sort of shit. So let's fast forward to this year, shall we? A lot of those players are gone. Tyreek Hill. Can the Chiefs win without this guy? He's a superstar wide receiver. Yeah, but we got Mahomes. Running back by committee. We don't have a superstar running back. We don't have a Priest Holmes or a Jamal Charles. We're back to that running back by committee where you got 7 or 8 different guys playing running back, and none of them can seem to mount much of a huge offense. But then we give the ball to this 9th round draft pick rookie out of Rutgers, Isaiah Pacheco. Plus we got Clyde Edwards-Helaire in and out of the lineup with injuries, but he's good. I didn't even mention the other running back that ended up going to Cleveland because we cut him after he was involved in domestic violence. If he had behaved, he'd still be a Chief, and maybe we would have 2 or 3 Super Bowls instead of 1. Anyway, we're in the Super Bowl again. 5 AFC title games at home in a row. Allegedly the best player of all time. Of course, he had a high ankle sprain a couple weeks ago. But he came out and played very well last week, and we beat those damn bungles to get our revenge. And now it's Philadelphia in the finals. How about that? Well, I think today is a must-win for the Chiefs. Otherwise, that Dynasty of One label, we could be stuck with it. This would literally be a back-breaking loss. Philly's good, but they're not great. This would be, in my opinion, a major upset if Philly were to win this game. I used to be nervous going into all these big games, but I have faith and confidence. Travis Kelce, have we mentioned him yet? Even Mahomes. Mahomes could be sitting on 2 bad ankles or 2 bad legs. He could be sitting in a wheelchair, He'd still find a way to throw the ball to Travis Kelce, and the guy will get 150 yards and he'll score 3 touchdowns. I expect the Chiefs to win big today, and I'll be literally in shock if they don't. But the pressure's on. You can't take for granted that you're going to get to the Super Bowl every year. You want to be the best of all time, you got to win more than just one. Heck, they put guys in the Hall of Fame for winning one. A lot of guys got one. Legends are those who got 2 or more. Tom Brady, Eli, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, he has 2, doesn't he? Yeah. Dallas, Troy Aikman, the San Francisco guys, Joe Montana. Okay, Mahomes. It's a must win. 5 AFC title games, 2 championships. Looks a lot better than 1. This is a must win game. Again, we may never get back there. Could be another 50 years. Mahomes could get hurt again. Who knows? We could just look at all the waves we've blown. We could finish in first place every year and still get beat. That's what we watched so many years in the 90s. And in the 2000 to 2010 bracket, a kicker could miss 3 field goals. The defense might not stop anyone. There's no guarantee we're going to win the AFC next year. Our divisional rivals, Denver, Vegas, and the Chargers, they all keep moving. Oakland, Los Angeles, San Diego. These teams have talent, and we can't just assume we're going to keep beating them. So this is a must-win for the Kansas City Chiefs. This is the most important game in the history of the franchise. If Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs lose today, he will be labeled a choker. You do not want that attached. Andy Reid. How many times did he get Philly to the finals only to lose? That's why they got rid of him. And what's going to happen if he comes to a Super Bowl with another team and loses to that same Philly team? I don't know. Lots of stories around this game. Kelsey brothers, one on Philly, one on Kansas City. How about Jalen Hurts, a quarterback that nobody believed in? Now they're talking about him being almost as good as Mahomes. Maybe even better. And the irony, Philly, a city kind of close to my heart for a variety of reasons. The last NFL game I went to in person was in Philly. 2008. Philly hosted a Monday night game and decimated Ken Dorsey and the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, I won't get into my history in Philly. A lot of good memories there. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting game. I don't really want to watch 9 hours of pregame. That's why I'm filming my own pregame, I guess. Kind of tough for me really to enjoy the football game because there's bigger issues at play. Life has been tough for me. It's been a rough year or two. When you're dealing with injuries, debt, pressures of various other issues around you, it's kind of tough to just park everything and enjoy a football game. I still like the regular season better. You get all these games at the same time and there's 3 or 4 games on in a row. Now it's been like 2 weeks since we even saw the playoff semis. It's like football season kind of seems over, but it's not. Don't want to take it for granted that the team you support is in the finals all the time. Again, this could be it. It could be another 50 years before we get back. Am I going to be here 50 years from now? Probably not. Maybe. If I am, I'm going to be very old. But yes, let's turn the camera off and enjoy the game. And if anyone watched this, and if you're still here, well, maybe you learned something. The history of the Chiefs from 93 to the present day. 30 years of football. Let's see if we can get that second title. I'm Jennifer Creeth. Have a great day, everyone. Oh, my back is sore.